Okay, today we'll be looking at Final Draft version 9 on Apple's OS X Yosemite operating system. So in this video we'll be looking at the production features of Final Draft 9, and we'll be using the delivered farmland speculative script. And I'm going to walk you through the process of taking a speculative script and making it a shooting script. Okay, first I'm going to take this spec script and prepare it for a shooting script. And in doing so, I'm going to go to the production menu and add scene numbers. Normally you wouldn't have scene numbers until you are in a have a shooting script. Okay, I clicked on scene numbers and I'm going to select the options to number scenes / renumber. In this case there is no numbering, so this will be the first numbering of the scenes in the farmland script. And you can see on the scene headings on both the right and left margins there is the scene number numbering sequentially, 1, 2, etc. Actually, before that, let's lock the pages. This means that since we went ahead and numbered the scenes, we're going to go ahead and freeze the pagination, because in this part of the process the script is now frozen and going to be distributed and boarded. Boarded means that the script has been in the pre-production phase and already committed to budgets and other key people of the production team. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And since this is the first version of the shooting script, I'm going to use my naming convention and say version 1.0. Any subsequent versions of this production shooting script, I'm going to version it 1.1, 1.2, etc. And we'll talk more about that later. Okay, we're going to take this draft 1.0 version, and now we're going to assume changes are needed, but the scenario is that this shooting script's already been distributed among cast and crew of the movie, and there can't be changes that aren't accounted for or that would conflict with that shooting script that's already been distributed to the whole team. So now we're going to figure out how to avoid that. So I'm going to go into the revision set, make sure that revision mode is on, and now you can see that Final Draft has an industry standard of what they're calling revision sets. In this case, any subsequent change from the normal pages that get printed out, version 1.0, those are called white papers, meaning that they're printed on normal white paper and there's assumed to be no changes. And part of the change control for any subsequent changes from the script that's already been distributed are printed on color pages, and then the label gets included in every top page of any revised page that gets distributed. It's just another visual indication of how to coordinate changes, and also we're also going to add a date. So for any blue pages, so any changes that get marked on this script, the changes will get marked, and also the page color will turn, because I'm going to select that, show revision page colors. I'm also going to add a label saying that this blue revision was created on January 10th, 2015. So every page that gets revised will have this new revision set label in the header, the top of the page. And since I already know that there's going to be changes, I'm going to go ahead and version my file, version 1.1. So you can probably piece together that since my naming standard version 1.0 was the white pages, 1.1 were the blue pages, and the next one, if there are any additional changes after blue pages, those are called pink, they're printed on pink pages, and that will be version 1.2. Okay. So the changes that I need to make, there's simple, let's say a simple dialogue change on scene 8, and Walter's text here says, "Man's got means, what can you do?" I want to change that, "What can you do?" to change the dialogue to "What can you say?" And you can see there already that I'm in revision mode, and the revised dialogue has been marked. That line of changed dialogue has been marked with an asterisk. That's a revision mark from our revision options that we looked at in the previous screen, the previous menu. And you can see here I have show page revision set page colors, and the page is turned blue. The outline of the page is blue. So that's how the revisions are tracked and managed from a simple point of view. Now we're going to do something a little bit more involving. Let's say we want to add a scene after this scene 10. In between scene 10 and 11, I want to add a scene. Okay, you can see here I've added a scene heading with an action line, a character line, and Walter's dialogue. And you can see each one of those changes has been asterisked, indicating that it's a change. It's lines that have been either added or revised. In this case, we've added new lines to the script. Now, right now, you can see that it has no scene number. So in between 10 and 11, I've added this new scene, but now there is no scene number. So the feature that we're going to use that we saw before, we're going to say, go ahead and re-add the numbers. I'm going to say renumber, but I'm also going to make sure I keep existing numbers. Since this script has already been distributed, we cannot change the scene numbers that have already been committed. So we have to rely on a function of change control that Final Draft is going to give us. So if I click OK, it's going to come up with a scheme to keep the numbering that we've already committed. And you can see here it's 10. In between scene 10 and 11, we've added scene 10A. And you can see in doing so, it's pushed, instead of flowing the text onto the locked page 6 of us adding the scene, it's added a page 5A. So the runoff from scene 11 didn't flow on to page 6. A page 5A was created. So the runoff from the added scene gets captured into this new page 5A. So let's say we had a run of pages, a run of revised pages that we know that we have, let's say on this one page, page 1, page 2, knowingly we'll both have changes on page 1 and 2. So let's see how we can handle that. So let's say in scene 1, the scene on that is just too expensive. The scenario is that the scene is just too expensive and the scene really adds nothing but is very costly, so we need to cut it. So we're going to the production menu and say Omit Scene. You can see here that the scene didn't delete, it's still there and accounted for, and we know that all subsequent pages in this will still have scene 2 with the designation of that it's omitted. Now, doing so, this has given us all this empty space on the first page. Knowing that I know that my page 2 is also going to have changes, I can choose to repaginate it so it flows back onto page 1. And that's what I'm going to show. So since our pages are locked, I need to unlock page 2 by going to the production menu, locking tools menu item, and the unlock page feature. It's going to ask me, this command will remove the locked page entry at the current insertion point, meaning where I had the cursor on page 2, at the beginning of page 2. Is this what I want? Yes, it is. And then that will flow back. Page 2 is allowed to flow back onto page 1. And that's what we wanted. Well, we didn't want to disturb or mess with the integrity of page 3, starting with Henry's shirt is tucked in and his hair combed. We do not want to repaginate page 3 since it has no changes. Now, you can see here that it's created an A page, and our page 2 has gone unaccounted for. So I'm going to use Final Draft locking tools and say lock new page. And it says, do I want to create a new page at this certain insertion point? I said yes. And in doing so, we get our page 2 back. And I can also make my change. That was part of the run of revised pages. So my page 2, I'm going to go ahead and make my change. Okay. So from this, I'm going to save it. And now I'm free to distribute this, except I need to show you the title page. So pages may get printed out with just the revised changes, so but make sure that everybody's on the same page. There needs to be one point of reference on everybody's script, which would be the title page. So the industry standard for doing title pages is this. We know I made my change on January 10th, 2015. Better yet, I need to say revised January 10th, 2015. And that revision set was our blue color code. So every time just the print-offs of the change pages, you will also need to print the title page for everybody to make sure that everybody knows what revision set we're on. and give that a save. Okay, so now we can assume that the revised pages have already been distributed, but yet there's more changes. I'm going to reversion my file to version 1.2 and save that. I'm going to lock the A pages. I'm going to go to my revisions. I'm going to prepare my pink revision with the revision set label. And this, in our scenario here, I'm using January 27th, 2015. And I'm going to update the revision set from blue to pink. And it's giving us a warning, once you move to the next revision set, it can't be undone. We're okay with this? And click OK. So for a change here, I'm going to add some dialogue to scene 8. You can see that even me keying it to add some dialogue, it's revised. The revision says change the page 3 to the pink revision set color and create a page 3A, meaning that it's already forced the dialogue that was on page 3 to a new page 3A. Okay. So for our scenario here, we're going to go ahead and assume that it's all the more changes. Save it. And now I'm going to show you how to print just the changes that were done on the two revision sets, the blue and the pink. So in this case, I'm going to select all revised pages, which we know are the blue and the pink. Include title page. Actually, I forgot to update the title page, so I'm going to go back before I print and add the pink revision set. Okay, back to our print dialog box. I'm going to print all the revised pages, including the title page I just updated. And I also want to print the revisions in color. In this case, we're going to print to a PDF, so I want to see the pages that we saw, the color of the pages that we saw when we're working with the document, also in the portable document format file. Say save as PDF. Version 1.2, because we know we went through two revision sets. Click Save. And we can close this. Go find it in our documents. You can see here from the title page that revision set on the 10th is the blue, and then again on the 27th is the pink. And you can see here that page 1 that we revised the first time is in fact blue. You can see scene 2 is omitted, and it was repaginated from the third or the second page onto the first page. And then you can see page 2 was left a short page, so as not to repaginate what was already on 3 on back onto 2. And you can see the minor change of adding some dialogue. You can see that with the asterisk at the bottom. The additional dialogue was added at scene 8 on page 3. And then that forced at page 3A to be able to squeeze in the dialogue we added to a separate page without affecting page 4. And then page 5, we added a scene. We added scene 10A. You can see it goes from 10A to 11. And then that forced to page 5A. Okay, well, I hope you found this helpful, and good luck in your screenwriting.